Hey y'all, put your sitting britches on. It is time to make some seed starter mix. Now this is going to be an easy recipe. We will be able to make this with no problem. What I like to use is Jiffy seed starter mix, perlite, and earthworm castings. I do like to add an extra ingredient, and I will let you know what that is as we go along in the video. Now, if you don't like to use Jiffy seed starter mix and you want to use cocoa coir, you are more than welcome to use that. I used to use the cocoa coir bricks too, but then I moved on to the Jiffy seed starter mix. So grab a seat and let's get this seed starter mix done so we can get our seeds started for our upcoming garden season. I'm using Jiffy seed starter mix. It just happens to retain moisture better than cocoa coir, which is why I'm using the Jiffy. Now here I've added water already, which is why it looks like the soil is moving. It's because I've already added 1 pot of boiling water, so now I'm adding another pot of boiling water. I'm adding boiling water to eliminate any insect eggs or larvae. You can use cocoa coir. Cocoa coir is great because it does aid in having better air to your roots, but it doesn't come with any added nutrients. So you have to just weigh that with your other options. For me, I can be a little lazy because I start a lot of my seeds indoors. And so on those lazy days, I really do need the water retention that peat moss gives. So that's why I like to use the Jiffy starter mix. Plus it comes with some added nutrients. So it comes with vermiculite, and it also comes with a pH balance already added to the soil. Added all of my boiling water. I'm going to wait for it to cool off, and then I'm going to add my perlite, and then I'm going to add my earthworm castings. Next, we're going to add our perlite to our soil. Now I'm adding in 1 part perlite. Perlite is going to be your secret to keeping this mix from getting heavy and soggy. It adds airspace for roots to breathe and helps water drain through instead of just sitting there. That's huge for little seedlings because too much moisture can cause dampening off, and we don't want that. So this helps those baby seedlings get a healthy start. Now that we've added our perlite, we're now going to add our earthworm castings. You can add any brand of earthworm castings you like. This is the brand that I'm using. I've used different brands at different times, but this is the brand that I'm using right now. So let's add our earthworm castings. Earthworm castings can be so beneficial for your young seedlings. They increase water retention, improve soil structure, promote microbial activity, and help plants grow and produce higher yields. Think of worm castings like a kid's multivitamin for seedlings. They add natural nutrients, beneficial microbes, and help improve moisture balance without being too strong or burning young roots. So while the mix stays light and airy, the castings give those baby seedlings a steady, healthy food source right from the start. Now our seed starter mix is complete. But I do have an optional ingredient, mycorrhizae fungi. And what it does is it infects the plant at the roots, and it forms a symbiotic relationship. And the plant gives the fungus carbohydrates and sugar. And the fungus gives the plant nutrients and water. You do not have to add this to your seed starter mix. It is completely optional. Instead of adding it now, you can also add this when it's time to transplant your seedlings instead. So you don't have to do it now. You can also just wait until it's time to transplant and add it then. So it's really optional and up to you, but this is just an optional ingredient that I like to add. You do not need to add this. but this is just an option. So really you only need your seed starter mix, your earthworm castings, and your perlite, 1 equal parts of each one. So 1 part seed starter mix, 1 part earthworm casting, 1 part perlite, and that's it. Now we're gonna add our mycorrhizae fungi. This is the mycorrhizae fungi that I'm using. There are different brands out there. You want to pay attention to the instructions on the brand that you're using, because each brand will tell you the different amounts to use. So I can't give you an accurate amount to add to your seed starter mix, because the brand you use will tell you how much to add to your mix. So you need to follow the instructions on the bag that you have and add it according to the instructions. But this is the brand that I'm using. Each brand of mycorrhizae fungi is made differently. It is very important that you research the brands. They're all made differently. No one brand is the same. Mycorrhizae actually connects to the roots and sends out microscopic threads through the soil. Those threads help pull in extra phosphorus, water, and nutrients seedlings can't reach on their own. So you get stronger root systems, faster, earlier growth, and tougher, more resilient younger plants. Now that we have made our seed starter mix, I want you to grab a handful of your seed starter mix. It should be nice and fluffy. If that seed starter mix is wet and you can squeeze it in your hands and water is dripping out, it is too wet to use right now for your seedlings or your seeds. So you're gonna need to let it dry out overnight, because what we don't want is wet seed starter mix. You do not want to put your seeds or your seedlings in wet soil like that, because it will encourage mold, it will encourage dampening off, and your seedlings will die. We do not want that. So we want nice, fluffy soil, nice and fluffy. You shouldn't be able to squeeze water out of it. There's no water coming out. So if it is wet, you're gonna leave it out overnight so that it can dry out some. And then when it's nice and fluffy, then you can go ahead and put your seeds in your seed starter mix. Well, that is how you make seed starter mix for your young seedlings for your garden season. Wasn't that easy? See, it wasn't hard at all. Well, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. And as always, please like, share, and follow. And thank you as always for being here with me at Home with Lena. And until next time.